This is where every great hot rod and classic car build really begins. Not the engine, not the paint. The chassis is where it begins for most. In this video, I'm going to show you how to tear down, inspect, rebuild, and upgrade a classic car or hot rod chassis and suspension. Whether you're restoring a 30 Ford, a Tri-5 Chevy, a classic truck, or building a custom hot rod from the ground up, this video will give you the foundation to do it. Chassis and suspension rebuild, from rust to road ready. We're covering how to safely strip a chassis down to the frame, how to inspect frames, suspension points, and mounting geometry, budget versus premium suspension options, steering, brakes, bushings, and mounting hardware, how to rebuild for comfort, handling, or performance, and at the end, how these concepts translate to newer style cars. This isn't theory, this is practical, real-world building knowledge. What is a chassis and why it matters? The chassis is the structural backbone of the car. It holds the suspension, steering, drivetrain, and body alignment. We'll let Student Lesson explain.
The vehicle's engine and transmission loads, as well as other parts and people inside, are supported by the chassis. It is a sturdy metal frame that is capable of carrying a whole load of a car in a static or dynamic condition. Definition of a car chassis. A car chassis is a load-bearing structure that supports the load of a vehicle. In other words, the term chassis should be used to describe the portion of a car's structure that carries weight. The vehicle's horizontal segment is what joins the other parts of the construction together. The chassis is a group of mechanical parts that enable the drive unit to transmit power to the wheels. Function of the chassis. The function of the chassis is to sustain not just the components and occupants of the car, but also the engine and transmission loads. It provides space for mounting other necessities like the engine, brake, etc. to the vehicle. The chassis withstands the stresses arising due to bad road conditions. It also withstands stresses during braking and acceleration of the vehicle.
On classic cars and hot rods, most chassis are body-on-frame, meaning the body bolts onto a separate steel frame. That makes them ideal for custom suspension swaps, ride height changes, steering upgrades, brake improvements. Get the chassis wrong, and no amount of horsepower will fix it. You don't need a professional fabrication shop to rebuild a chassis, but you do need the basics. Essential tools: floor jack and heavy-duty jack stands, breaker bar, metric and socket sets, combination wrenches, torque wrench, pry bars, hammer and dead blow mallet. Spring compressors critical for safety, wire brushes and scrapers, angle grinder with flap discs, penetrating oil. Safety gear is mandatory: gloves, eye protection, hearing protection. Premium Pro tools optional if you're doing multiple builds or precision work: hydraulic press, ball joint press kit, digital angle finder, plasma cutter or cutoff saw, MIG welder, frame alignment gauges. These tools don't just save time, they reduce mistakes. Step 1. Preparation and safety. Before turning a single bolt, preparation matters. Support the vehicle securely on jack stands placed under the frame, never under suspension arms. Remove wheels and disconnect the battery. Spray all fasteners with penetrating oil and let it soak. Take photos and label everything. Suspension geometry depends on correct orientation. Step 2. Stripping the chassis. Begin by disconnecting brake lines, fuel lines, steering column, body mounts. Once the body is separated, you can fully access the chassis. This is where you'll discover decades of wear, rust, and questionable repairs. Step 3. Front suspension teardown. Common classic front suspension types: solid axle early hot rods, double wishbone, coil spring, control arm, torsion bar. Some classics. Here is student lesson again to explain.
It's considered the best due to its toughness and is frequently used in racing cars because of this advantage. 2. Ladder frame. A ladder frame chassis, resembling a ladder, is ideal for supporting vehicle engine mounts and other components despite its unconventional design. Typically made of symmetrical steel with a beam shape, this chassis is reinforced with additional joints and cross members. It is commonly used in SUV automobiles. 3. Backbone chassis. The primary structure of the chassis gives it the appearance of a single skeleton. It connects the front and back of the car by running through the center. The backbone chassis is also known as a single chassis, but it has several drawbacks such as its high cost. 4. Monocoque chassis. A monocoque chassis integrates with the vehicle's body, serving as a component of the exterior that protects the interior in case of crashes. It is usually made of reinforced composite steel to also function as the frame of the car's body. The main requirement for chassis material is its strength to support the vehicle's weight. 5. Aluminum space frame. The aluminum space frame chassis is made of aluminum instead of steel, while monocoque chassis typically use steel plate sheets. This aluminum chassis is lighter than the monocoque.
Start with the front suspension. Carefully compress and remove coil springs or leaf springs. This is one of the most dangerous steps if done incorrectly. Remove shocks, control arms, ball joints, steering linkage, spindles. Keep left and right components separated. Step 4. Rear suspension teardown. Rear suspension is usually simpler but heavier. Remove drive shaft, shocks, leaf springs or trailing arms, rear axle assembly. Inspect spring mounts and frame rails carefully. This is a common rust area. Step 5. Frame inspection and repair. With everything removed, inspect the bare frame. Look for cracks near suspension mounts, rust scale or perforation, previous weld repairs, frame twist or sag. Measure diagonally across the frame to check squareness. Minor rust can be repaired. Structural rust means replacement or professional repair. Step 6. Cleaning and coating. Clean the frame using wire wheels, degreaser, pressure washing. Finish with rust converter, epoxy primer, chassis black or powder coat. This step protects everything you're about to install.
Same dust on the mailbox, same boots by the back door, same two-lane whispering.
What to buy suspension and chassis parts. No matter the budget, these should always be replaced. Rubber bushings, ball joints, tie rod ends, shocks, brake hoses, U-bolts, and hardware. Budget builds focus on reliability and factory geometry. Budget choices: rubber or OEM style bushings, stock replacement springs, standard gas shocks, rebuilt steering boxes. Drum brakes properly restored, perfect for cruisers and restorations.
Small garage, hot rod trucks, that's how we broke the mold. Friday night, same gravel, same crew at the dairy freeze, tail lights drawing halos.
Premium builds focus on ride quality and handling, premium upgrades, polyurethane or Delrin bushings, coilover suspension kits, tubular control arms, rack and pinion steering conversions. Disc brake conversions, front and rear, adjustable sway bars. These dramatically improve comfort and control. Step 7. Front suspension rebuild. Begin reassembly with the front suspension. Install control arms with new bushings. Torque fasteners to spec, but final torque should be done at right height. Install spindles, ball joints, shocks, and steering components. Use anti-seize on bolts passing through metal sleeves. Step 8. Rear suspension rebuild. Install rear springs or trailing arms. Align axle square to the frame. Install shocks and torque hardware evenly. Improper rear alignment causes handling and driveline vibration issues. Step 9. Brakes and steering. Brakes and steering are not optional upgrades, they're safety systems. Replace brake lines, master cylinder, wheel cylinders or calipers, bleed thoroughly and inspect for leaks. Ensure steering moves freely lock-to-lock with no binding. Alignment and setup. Once assembled, the chassis needs alignment at minimum, set ride height, center steering, verify caster, camber, and toe. Professional alignment is strongly recommended. Applying these ideas to newer cars. Modern cars use similar principles, just more complexity. Instead of solid frames, they use unibody construction, subframes, multi-link suspension. The same rules apply. Replace bushings, inspect mounting points, upgrade shocks and springs, maintain factory geometry. Learn chassis fundamentals here and modern cars become easier, not harder. Conclusion and CTA. A solid chassis is what turns a project into a car you can trust. If this video helped you, hit like, subscribe, and comment what you're building. Reference links are in the description, and the video creator names and titles are in the top left of their respected videos. I'll see you in the next build.